I never thought I'd find myself telling this story. Not because it's dramatic or full of twists, but because it's deeply personal. My name is Emma and I'm 40 years old. I've been raising my son Liam on my own since he was a toddler. He's 22, now grown into a thoughtful and kind young man, and we've always shared a quiet bond, one built through years of struggle, laughter, and quiet dinners for two. We've supported each other through everything. In many ways, Liam became the only constant in my life when the rest of the world seemed to drift away. And perhaps that closeness, though comforting, has made it hard to understand where thalines are drawn when two people rely on each other so deeply. One cold evening, Liam came home looking absolutely drained. He had been juggling his job and final exams, and the exhaustion was written all over his face. "You look beat," I said softly. He gave a tired smile. "I really am." I told him to lie down in my room. My bed is warmer and the house takes forever to heat up on winter nights. He didn't protest. I covered him with an old heavy blanket, the same one used when he was a kid. At first it felt so normal, a mother making sure her child was okay. But as I sat beside him and he shifted closer for warmth, I found myself pausing. Not because anything was wrong, but because I realized how long it had been since anyone had leaned on me like that, emotionally or physically. His presence was comforting, familiar. I could feel his breathing even out as he rested. I didn't move, not wanting to wake him. But in the silence, I became hyper-aware of my own thoughts. Thoughts not of him, but of myself. Of loneliness. Years of being strong, years of putting someone else first, of rarely having someone ask me how I was doing. I glanced down at him and saw a young man who had grown up far too fast. Just like we had both become each other's support system in the absence of anyone else. At one point, he stirred and looked up at me with tired, gentle eyes. "Thanks, Mom." I smiled and touched his hair, the way I used to when he was little. "You don't have to thank me, I'll always be here." He nodded, then looked away. A strange silence hung between us. Not uncomfortable, but heavy with emotion. I realized then how hard it had been for both of us to grow separately, when we've always been so entwined. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. I nearly jumped, the sound snapping me back to the present. It was our neighbor, Mark. He'd always been kind. Someone I trusted to help with the odd repair or shovel snow in the winter. "Hey, Emma," he said. "Just wanted to check in. It's been cold and I figured you might need a hand with the heating." I let him in, thankful for the distraction, as he worked on the heater. We chatted briefly. I noticed Liam standing in the hallway watching us quietly. There was something unreadable in his expression. Maybe curiosity, maybe something else. But I didn't press. After Mark left, Liam seemed withdrawn. I approached him gently. "You okay?" I asked. He shrugged. "Yeah, just tired, I guess." I wanted to ask him more, but he retreated to his room before I could continue. I stood there in the quiet heart, aching a little, not from anything wrong, but from the realization that we were both growing in different directions, and that closeness, while beautiful, could sometimes become a cage, if we weren't careful. Later that evening, he knocked on my door. He stepped inside, looking unsure. "Mom, I'm sorry if I've been acting weird." I shook my head. "You haven't. It's been a strange time for both of us." He sat down next. "To me, it's just been us for so long, I guess. Sometimes I don't know how to be my own person." His honesty broke something. Open in me. I squeezed his hand, me too. "Liam." We sat in silence. For the first time in a long time, I realized how much I needed to let him go. Not out of my life, but into the world, to become who he needs to be, without always feeling responsible for me. And I needed to find who I was, beyond being just his mom. He rested his head on my shoulder. just like when he was little. And it felt okay. Not because we were stuck in the past, but because we were acknowledging the present, the changing tide between us. The need for space and the enduring love that didn't have to stay the same to stay strong. I think we're both a little lost, I said gently. He nodded. Maybe we'll figure it out. And I believed him because sometimes love means letting go of the version of someone you've always known and trusting that the bond will survive even as it changes shape.